The word Kampfgruppe roughly translates to battle group in English. In the Second World War, the German army utilized this form of organization for various reasons, and this concept was a key and central element in their tactical doctrine. One of the primary reasons for using this formation was to overcome a certain objective with an ad hoc formation of panzers, artillery, infantry, combat engineers, some assault boats if needed, and a few anti-tank guns. Generally, Kampfgruppen, which is the plural for Kampfgruppe, were temporary in nature. After the objective or task were taken, the Kampfgruppe was usually disbanded and the units were reintegrated into their respective divisional units. Although Kampfgruppen could be smaller, half of them were battalion size and another third were larger. The German battalion had about 500 to 1,000 men and was the smallest self-contained unit that could support itself in combat. It had 3 infantry companies and a 4th heavy machine gun company along with other support elements. It had sufficient offensive and defensive firepower and support elements to maintain a combat situation. One of the reasons it is hard to get an exact figure on how many men there were in a German battalion is due to the difference between the paper strength and the actual post-combat losses strength. In reality, after a battalion was in combat for even a short while, their losses weren't easily made up, and they returned to the rear area for re-equipment and reorganization. Due to the different Kampfgruppen sizes, the commanding officer's rank varied. The history of the Kampfgruppe has its roots in the battlefield experiences of World War I. In the last years of the Great War, the Germans figured out that it was best to have picked troops with special weapons, which could overcome enemy trenches. These infiltration tactics were used by the Sturmmann, or in English we would call him the Stormtrooper. They were also called Stoßtruppen. These were formed into companies and put at the point of attack. Other armies also used the term assault troops, shock troops, or fire teams for specialist soldiers who performed infiltration tasks of stormtroopers. The Soviets also had what they called a shock army, which was a Red Army formation raised and equipped specifically to enable it to perform the first phase of Soviet deep battle doctrines. The intention behind shock armies was a very large formation specialized to crack the enemy front line and tear it wide open, creating a tactical breakthrough that could be exploited by a mobile and mechanized force in the second echelon of the offensive. For that purpose, they were equipped with larger concentrations of armor and artillery. There wasn't really an exact equivalent of the Kampfgruppe in the Western Allied armies. The closest in concept was that of the American Task Force. The United States Army Combat Command was a larger combined arms military organization, roughly the size of a brigade or a regiment. When a Kampfgruppe was formed, it was given an immediate task or a group of tasks, and was named after either the commanding officer or the parent division. The German army used the Kampfgruppe as the fist or the tip of the spear that attacked the enemy. The combat frontages for a Kampfgruppe were up to 1,000 meters when attacking, 2,000 meters when defending, and 4,000 meters when fighting a rearguard action. They ensured that everything that could be needed by a fast-moving formation was readily available. To give a good example of German use of Kampfgruppen, when the 21st Panzer Division arrived in Tunisia, it was put under the control of 5th Panzer Army, and then used as Kampfgruppen in a series of successive engagements against the Allies. From January 30th to February 3rd, 1943, the 21st Panzer Division was split into 2 Kampfgruppen for action. Kampfgruppe Grün was led by Major Werner Grün, who was later rewarded for his achievements. Kampfgruppe Pfeiffer was led by Major Pfeiffer, which was then further divided into North, Center, and South task forces. Both Kampfgruppen were organized very quickly and composed of separate Abteilungen, or detachments, of armor and artillery. Throughout the battles in North Africa, the 21st Panzer Division was used in numerous Kampfgruppen formations, with Kampfgruppe Pfeiffer taking part in many different actions again and again. Later in the defensive battles in Tunisia, Field Marshal Rommel himself took control of the 21st Panzer Division while it fought in the battles for Kasserine Pass. The division was halted before being able to reach the actual pass itself. Kampfgruppe Pfeiffer surrendered on May 11, 1943, while the rest of the 21st Panzer Division surrendered on May 13th when the Tunisian bridgehead in North Africa finally fell. Many hundreds of Kampfgruppen are known to have existed during World War II, while many more were used, but will probably never be known because of the temporary nature in which they were often formed and used in combat. If you liked the video you just watched, then you may like these two other videos from EmersusTech.
The love.